All right, let's dive in. Today we're exploring the Nithya Kalyana Perumal Temple, the 60th Divya Desam.
Ah, a fascinating choice.
It is, isn't it? And I think our listeners will be pretty intrigued when they hear this. Imagine a temple where every day is a wedding day.
Oh, now that's an image.
Right. A place where even a small offering can bring multiplied rewards.
That's quite a promise.
It is. And to top it off, the main deity is unlike any you've ever seen before.
Okay, you've definitely got my attention.
Good. So let's uncover the layers of mythology, history, and cultural significance that make this temple so unique.
Sounds like a journey. Where do we begin?
Well, let's start by setting the scene.
Okay.
Imagine yourself in the village of Thiruvidaventhai.
Thiruvidaventhai. It's a name that rolls right off the tongue.
It does, doesn't it? And the setting is just as beautiful as the name suggests. We're talking serene shores, casuarina trees swaying in the breeze, and lush mango groves.
That sounds idyllic, so peaceful.
Exactly. And tucked away in this tranquil setting is the Nithya Kalyana Perumal temple.
But it's not a temple that shouts for attention, is it? No towering Raja Gopuram like some of the others.
You're right. It's more understated, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. It's almost like it's inviting you in for a quieter, more personal experience.
I like that. So we've got this peaceful setting, a temple that whispers rather than shouts. Now let's meet the divine residents.
All right, let's see who we have here.
The two main deities are Nitya Kalyana Perumal, the Utsavamurti.
The festival deity.
That's right. And he's always depicted as the bridegroom, eternally ready to bestow blessings.
Eternally the bridegroom. That's interesting.
And then there's the Mulavar, the primary deity,
And that would be
Sri Lakshmi Adi Varahaswamy.
Adi Varahaswamy. That name's ringing a bell.
It's Vishnu, but not in his usual form.
Ah, you're talking about the Varaha Avatar, right? The boar incarnation?
You got it. And we're not talking a little statue here.
How big are we talking?
A 9-foot-tall representation of Vishnu as Varaha.
9 feet tall. Wow, that's quite an image.
And it's this Varaha depiction that makes this temple so unique. This specific form, it's not found anywhere else.
What's so special about it?
Well, think about this. His right foot is grounded. His left foot is resting on Adisesha's head, the serpent.
Adisesha representing the ego.
Exactly.
Okay.
And to top it off, Bhumadevi, the earth goddess, is resting on his thigh.
So Vishnu's got the ego under control and he's supporting the earth. That's powerful symbolism.
It really is. And it's this unique posture that actually gives the temple its name, the Thiruvidaventhai.
Wait, really? Break that down for me.
Okay, so Thiru means holy, Ida means left, and Yentai means side, referring to Bhumadevi's position on Vishnu's left side.
Thiru, Ida, Yentai. Becoming Thiruvidaventhai over time. That's incredible, like a hidden code in the name itself.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And speaking of hidden meanings and connections, let's move on to the mythology that surrounds this temple.
All right, let's hear a story.
Have you ever heard the tale of Kalvarishi and his 360 daughters?
360 daughters. That's a lot of daughters. No, I don't think I've heard this one.
Well, get ready because it's a wild ride.
I'm all ears.
So picture this. Kalvarishi finds himself in a predicament. He's got these 360 daughters to raise.
360? That's got to be some kind of record.
And being a responsible father, he's worried about their future.
Understandably so. What's a father to do with 360 daughters?
He does what any wise sage would do. He seeks divine guidance.
Makes sense. And what did the divine have to say?
He's guided to Thiruvidaventhai. And get this, he's told that his daughters will be married daily to a mysterious brahmachari.
Daily weddings. For 360 daughters, this is getting more intriguing by the minute.
I know, right? So you can imagine the scene every day, a new wedding.
This brahmachari must have been quite a catch.
He was, because eventually it's revealed that the brahmachari is none other than Lord Vishnu himself.
Of course. Who else could handle 360 weddings?
Exactly. And to make things even more amazing, the 360 daughters merge into one, becoming Akilavali Nakyar.
So from 360 individual brides to one divine entity.
And everyone present, including Kalvarishi, attains enlightenment.
Wow. That's a story for the ages. But what does it all mean? What's the message behind the daily weddings and the daughters merging into one?
Well, I think there are a couple of key takeaways here.
All right, let's unpack this.
First, the daily weddings, they symbolize Vishnu's constant grace and blessings. Like no matter what, he's always there, ready to shower his devotees with love and care.
That's actually quite a comforting thought, isn't it? That constant presence.
It is. And then the 360 daughters becoming one, I see that as a powerful message about unity and transcendence.
Transcendence of what?
Transcendence of our individual desires, of our ego.
So it's about recognizing that we're all part of something bigger than ourselves, all connected in some way.
Precisely. And it reminds me of another story connected to this temple, one that emphasizes Vishnu's role as the liberator.
Oh, another story. Lay it on me.
This one involves Asura Raja Bali, a demon king who, believe it or not, is seeking atonement for his past deeds.
A demon king seeking atonement. Now that's a twist.
I know, right? And where does he choose to perform his penance?
Give me a hint.
At Thiruvidaventhai's sacred tank, the Varaha Tirtham.
The Varaha Tirtham. Interesting choice.
It is, because as Bali is offering his prayers, Vishnu emerges from the tank in his Varaha form, granting him moksha.
Moksha. You mean liberation from the cycle of birth and death.
Exactly.
It's a pretty big deal in Hinduism. So Vishnu literally rises from the water to answer Bali's prayers.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? Divine grace, the possibility of redemption.
And this isn't just some dusty old myth, right? It's a story that still resonates today.
Absolutely. There's a belief that bathing in the Varaha Tirtham, especially during the Tamil month of Masi, can grant moksha.
So this ancient story is still shaping beliefs and practices today. That's incredible.
And it's not just stories that keep this temple's history alive. We also have a rich epigraphic record, inscriptions dating back to the 10th century.
Inscriptions, you mean like writing on the walls?
More like carved into stone.
Ah, okay. So what do these inscriptions tell us?
They offer glimpses into the temple's past, details about royal patronage, donations, even penalties for folks who didn't fulfill their pledges.
Penalties. That's serious business.
It was. These inscriptions really paint a picture of the temple's deep connection to the community, to daily life.
Can you give me an example, something specific from these inscriptions?
Well, there's one that mentions King Rajakesaravarman. You might know him as Raja Hirad.
He was a Chola king, right? Ruled in the 11th century.
You know your history.
Trying to keep up.
So this inscription tells us that he gifted an entire village to the temple.
An entire village, that's quite the gift.
And it doesn't stop there. The inscription goes on to detail how the tax revenue from that village should be used for temple festivals.
That's amazing. We're talking about records that specific from over 1,000 years ago.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it? We're not just talking about kings and grand gestures, though.
Oh. What else do we learn from these inscriptions?
Well, there's one that tells us about 12 families of fishermen who are dedicated to conducting a 7-day festival called Raja Raja Devar Tirunal.
Fishermen responsible for a temple festival. That's interesting.
And the inscription even details their tax contributions and the labor they had to provide.
Wow. So we're seeing the impact the temple had on everyday life, on professions, social structures. It's a real window into the past.
Speaking of windows into the past, we can't forget about the poetry and hymns that have shaped the temple's legacy.
You're talking about the Alvars, right? The poet saints of South India.
Exactly. And at this particular temple, we have the contributions of one very special Alvar.
Which one?
Thirumangai Alvar.
Ah, yes. Thirumangai Alvar. What did he compose for this temple? Thirumangai Alvar, he's the only Alvar to sing the praises of this particular temple.
That's right, quite a distinction.
He composed 13 pasurams, devotional hymns, dedicated to the deity at Thiruvidaventhai.
13 pasurams, each one a window into his devotion.
Exactly, and they're filled with such raw emotion, such longing.
Can you give us a taste of his work? An example that captures the essence of his devotion to this deity.
There's one where he portrays a mother, heartbroken because her daughter is completely lost in her devotion to the Lord.
Lost in her devotion to the point where...
To the point where there's no love left for her mother.
That's a powerful image, the all-consuming nature of true devotion.
It really speaks to the idea of surrender, doesn't it? Divine love surpassing even the love between a mother and child.
And it's this concept of divine love that seems to permeate the temple's cultural significance, especially when it comes to marriage blessings.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've got Nithya Kalyana Perumal always depicted as the bridegroom.
Eternally ready for the wedding.
Right. So it's no surprise that this temple is a popular destination for couples seeking a blessed union.
It makes sense. But is it just the act of getting married at the temple, or is there something more to it?
It's definitely more than just a venue. The temple itself, with its mythology and rituals, embodies the concept of divine union.
So the temple itself represents that sacred bond.
Exactly. And it's not just in the mythology, the daily rituals also mirror that symbolism.
How so?
Well, every day, Nitya Kalyana Perumal is dressed as a bridegroom. They even put a dot on his cheek, just like a real groom.
It's like they're reenacting that divine wedding every single day, keeping that energy of love and unity alive.
Precisely. And then there are certain festivals held at the temple that specifically cater to couples.
Oh, like which ones?
One of the most important ones is during the Tamil month of Chittirai, which falls between April and May.
Okay, and what happens during this festival?
It's a grand celebration of the divine marriage of Nithya Kalyana Perumal and his consort Kamalavali Nachiyar.
It's like a huge wedding party, but with the deities as the bride and groom.
Exactly. Devotees come from all over to witness this divine union and seek blessings for their own relationships.
I bet the energy is palpable. So much joy and devotion.
You can feel it in the air, the excitement, the anticipation, and it's not just about the divine couple either.
You're talking about those 360 daughters from the earlier story.
Yes, they're honored during the festival as well.
The 360 daughters who merged into Akila Bali Nachiyar.
Right, and they have this beautiful tradition.
What do they do?
During the Chittirai festival, there's a special procession where they light 360 lamps.
360 lamps, each one representing a daughter.
And they're merging into that one divine entity. It's a powerful visual, isn't it, bringing that story to life?
It really shows how they weave those ancient stories into the present, keeping the past alive.
And speaking of connections, the temple's sacred tanks also play a crucial role in the whole experience.
The tanks, right? We haven't talked about those yet. I imagine they hold some significance beyond just being part of the landscape.
Oh, they do. The Varaha Tirtham, the one where Vishnu emerged in his boar form, it's considered incredibly sacred.
We were talking about that earlier, how it's believed to grant moksha.
Exactly. And there's another tank called the Kalyana Tirtham, specifically associated with marriage blessings.
2 tanks, each with a unique energy, a different facet of divine grace.
One for liberation, the other for a blessed partnership. It's like they've woven the physical landscape into these spiritual practices.
I like that. You're not just passively observing, you're immersing yourself in these sacred waters, the rituals, the festivals.
You're enveloped in the whole experience. It's a multisensory journey, a portal to the divine.
And when you think about the stories we've discussed, the rituals, the physical setting,
it all comes together to create this truly transformative experience.
it makes you want to go there, doesn't it? To stand within those walls, to feel that energy.
To touch those ancient stones, to witness those wedding celebrations firsthand, it would be incredible.
Well, we've certainly given our listeners a lot to think about, a lot to spark their own curiosity.
And hopefully inspire them to explore these incredible Divya Desams for themselves.
Absolutely. To our listeners, if you're feeling inspired, dive deeper into the world of the Divya Desams. Maybe even plan a visit to the Sri Nithya Kalyana Perumal temple and experience its magic firsthand.
That's a fantastic suggestion. Go and see it for yourselves.
Until next time, keep exploring and keep those questions coming. Welcome back. We've been on quite a journey, exploring the Sri Nithya Kalyana Perumal temple.
It's been fascinating, hasn't it? All those layers of mythology, history.
And don't forget those incredible inscriptions.
Right. A real window into the past.
Speaking of windows, you mentioned something before the break about the temple's architecture.
I did, didn't I?
You piqued my curiosity. Something about its connection to ancient cosmological beliefs.
Yes. It's something that always amazes me about temple architecture.
What do you mean?
Well, the way the temple is designed, the layout, it's often a reflection of how the builders understood the universe.
So it's not just about creating a beautiful space.
It's about aligning that physical space with a deeper cosmic order.
That's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is, isn't it? For instance, the central shrine where the primary deity resides, it's often aligned with the east.
The direction of the rising sun.
Exactly, symbolizing creation, enlightenment.
Okay, so applying that to the Sri Nithya Kalyana Perumal temple, what can we learn from its architectural layout?
That's a good question.
What would we see if we were standing there within the temple complex?
Well, I'd imagine the central shrine where Sri Lakshmi Varahaswamy resides.
Wilavar.
Right, the primary deity. That shrine would likely be positioned in a way that emphasizes his importance.
Makes sense. And what are the shrine for Nitya Kalyana Perumal, the Utsavamurti, the festival deity?
That shrine would probably be situated in a way that facilitates those vibrant processions and festivals we talked about.
So easy access for all the celebrations.
Exactly. And of course, the sacred tanks, the Varaha Tirtham, the Kalyana Tirtham, they would be integrated into the layout as well.
Creating a flow, a connection between those spaces.
Precisely. And don't forget about those inscriptions.
They're everywhere, aren't they?
On pillars, walls, the base of sculptures, little whispers of history woven into the very fabric of the temple.
It's amazing how all these elements come together. The grand structure, the smallest inscription, it's all part of this tapestry of faith and devotion.
Centuries in the making.
It makes you want to experience it firsthand, to walk through those spaces, to touch those ancient stones.
To feel that energy, to connect with that history, it would be incredible.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to ponder.
A lot to spark their own curiosity.
If you're feeling inspired by our deep dive into the Sri Nithya Kalyana Perumal temple,
Go explore.
delve deeper into the world of the Divya Desams.
Maybe even plan a visit to this incredible temple.
Experience its magic for yourselves.
And until our next deep dive.
Keep exploring, keep those questions coming, and who knows, maybe we'll see you at the Sri Nithya Kalyana Perumal temple one day.